the brand new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Just announced a couple of days ago. I've got one in my hand right now. Let's take a closer look. Tech it before you wreck it. What's up, geeks? I'm Kirk, and here it is, the Galaxy Z Fold 6, brand new from Samsung, not even out yet. I've got my hands on it. It's the tablet that becomes a phone, the phone that becomes a tablet, and we're on version 6 now. The question is, has Samsung finally perfected the folding phone format? I know there's a lot of reviews out there, but what I want to do, just like I did with the Flip 6, you can check that video out as well, I'm going to take a closer look at the unboxing experience. I want to take you with me as I unbox this for the first time and power it up and get this thing set up and get to that home screen. So let's get this thing over to the table and take a closer look.
Yep, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 in all its glory. Here is the box, looking pretty slick, pretty cool. I like what they did in the front here. It's the Galaxy Fold 6 here with the shadow. It's kind of cool. Just a nice, sleek looking black box. Nothing too interesting to see here. On the back, you've got the legal jargon. You do have kind of packaging contents here listed, but otherwise just your legal mumbo jumbo, the FCC ID, a QR code of some sort. On the bottom, you've got your typical numbers, your SKU, your IMEI number, and that's pretty much it. You can see this is already open because usually before Samsung sends us devices, they put a SIM card in it so we can test it out with a SIM card inside the device. And there it is. There's the Fold 6, looking pretty cool. You'll see on the top of the box, you've got a pull out here. Again, that's the SIM card, the T-Mobile SIM card that Samsung put in this ahead of time so that we could test it out with the SIM connection. But here is the probably the instruction manual. That's what Samsung usually does. Let's get this thing open and show you what's inside as I slide this thing out. Yeah, looks like we've got a quick start guide, a USB-C cable, and look, it's the SIM ejector tool. I have about 15 gazillion of those, and I've got a great collection. But this is your USB-C to USB-C cable. There is not a charging block in here. Not a big surprise. Samsung stopped doing that, as did most companies. But again, here's your quick start guide, your terms and conditions. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty typical stuff here. Let's move this off over to the side and get it out of the way so we can check out the stuff that you guys care about. Let's check out the Galaxy Z Fold 6. And I want to pull this thing up. You know, it's got two screens on it. So it's got two screen protectors over it in shipping. That right on the front there, that front screen, and then on the back there, the big giant screen that folds open. Look at this. There it is. Moment of zen. Always great. Notice down the middle, you can see that fold ever so slightly. Wasn't very visible at all on the Flip 6 when I unboxed that. Let's pull this screen protector off as well on the front screen just to kind of see what that looks like. Yeah, so smooth and glassy and watery, and I don't know what words to describe it. I love the look of a brand new untouched screen. There's your cameras. You've got 3 cameras on this thing, 50 megapixel, 12 megapixel, and a 10 megapixel camera. And let's take a look at the top edge here. You've got a bunch of microphone holes there, as well as a speaker port right there. So that's on the top of the phone, if you will. It's hard to decide what's the top and what's the bottom. I'm going to call that the top. On the right side, you've got your power button. You've got your volume rocker. That's pretty much all you have there. I'm not sure what that little... If you know what that is, comment below. That weird little slot there. I'm not sure if it's anything. On the bottom, you've got your second speaker. You've got another microphone. You've got a USB-C port right there. And then finally, on the bottom, not much going on except for your SIM card slot, which is where you use that SIM ejector tool to pop the SIM card out. And back to the front of this thing, and I'll fold this so you can see what that fold looks like. It really does feel tight. I'm surprised how tight it feels. I feel like the more and more they create these hinges, the better they get at it. Look at that hinge and the way the screen folds flat. And see that rubber gasket? I saw this with the Flip 6 too. More pronounced than ever before is kind of a rubber gasket around the outside of the screen. So when you close this thing, it's the rubber gasket that's closing on itself, not so much the screen closing on itself. Watch, I'll close it here. See that? And you can almost see it there if you look at the side of the phone, maybe more so on this side. Yeah, see how you can kind of see the rubber gasket? That way the screen is never actually really closing on itself. There's a tiny little maybe millimeter gap or something like that. But again, that hinge in the middle, you can see it there. I open it up, still visible, but less than ever before. There's no question. Samsung screens are getting better with the actual folding portion of this at laying flat. Let's power this on. Let's get it started up. I want to walk you through the process of actually getting this thing set up so you can see what that looks like. That was pretty quick. Well, welcome is cut off. Not cut off anymore. That was interesting. But that was pretty quick. Boot up time, probably 30 seconds. I didn't time it. Let's agree to these settings. I'm going to kind of zip through this just so you guys can see what the process looks like of getting this set up very, very quickly. I'll click Setup manually. It's asking me to choose a Wi-Fi network, and it shows my Wi-Fi network's available. And don't forget, you can close the phone and use the screen on the front, just like a normal smartphone kind of size. And I'll go ahead and connect to my Wi-Fi network here, hiding my credentials from your prying eyes. I know you're trying to check out my Wi-Fi code. Then you could come to my house and get on my Wi-Fi. I wouldn't want that. All right, let's connect to the Wi-Fi. You can see the selfie camera right there, the punch-out hole at the top of the screen. I'm connected to Wi-Fi. Let's move on to that next step. Let's open it back up, and you'll notice, boom, jumps right to the same screen. So fast, too. Notice how quick that was. Almost zero hesitation. And do you see that? It actually shows up better on camera than it does in person. It's got a weird moire pattern going on camera. But that's the punch-out for the camera, but it has a screen on top of it. So when it doesn't need it, it actually just puts kind of a screen on top of it. I don't know how else to describe it, but it really is cool. Not that this is the first time they've done that, but it's cool to see that here, especially, again, as you can see it more pronounced on camera than you can in real life. Let me log onto my Google account and get this thing set up. I've been Googled. It's now connecting to the Google services with my Google account, which obviously makes setting up the phone a lot easier. And there you go, just some normal screens here asking if you want to back up your device, use location information. I'll just zip through this and accept this. You should set up some sort of protection for your phone. I'm not going to do it now just for demo purposes. It makes it easier if there's not a passcode on the phone. Let's agree to the Google Assistant settings. We'll allow that to happen. Getting your phone ready, and then it wants a Samsung account. If you have a Samsung phone, I do recommend you set up a Samsung account. You can set it up with your Google login, but it is very helpful for the Samsung apps that are on the phone. Do you want to agree to the legal terms and conditions from Samsung? Yes. Well, again, zipping through these settings, I'm going to set this to light mode, not dark mode. Hey, you should take care of your phone. There it is. We're all set up. That actually wasn't that bad. That wasn't too long of a process. If you want to get this thing set up quickly, that proves to you you really can get this thing set up very quickly. So let's check this out. So here is the phone flipping between the inside screen and the front screen. And it's almost the size of a tablet. I would say maybe a mini tablet once you kind of open it up. Let me get into the Google Chrome settings here. Yep, I want to continue as Kirk, of course. No, I don't want to sync this with my computer. Enhance privacy. I got it. We get it. We're good. Let me type in a web address here. Let's see if I can kind of type something in. I'll type in, bring up Yahoo. Let's see if we can bring up Yahoo on here, just so we can give you a website to demo. I want to show you kind of the process of closing the phone, opening the phone. So this is what a website looks like when we've got the phone opened up. And okay, why isn't it staying open when I close the phone? Oh, okay. You can choose apps that will continue on the cover screen when you close your phone. Well, yeah, of course I want that. Let's choose our apps. So let's see, we got basically a list of all the apps here. You could set all apps to do it. I don't think I would want that, but let me choose Chrome and, oh, YouTube. You see that? Go back. YouTube, hi YouTube. Yeah, we'll turn you on too, because if I'm watching a YouTube video and I close the phone, I probably want to keep watching that YouTube video. You'll have to play with that, set that to your preferences. I like that they give you the option of deciding if that happens or not. So, all right, back here. So here's Yahoo again, and we've got the mobile phone version, and then it switches over to a tablet version. Or maybe that's a larger mobile phone version. I'm not sure. But look, now when we close it, it just jumps right back to the website. And again, it's pretty fast. It really is pretty fast, especially considering it's reformatting the web page on the fly like that. Not only is it displaying the same thing, but it's got to reformat it based on the screen size changing. Pretty cool, pretty impressive. Let me show you a couple of things here. So this is the selfie camera on the front of the phone. So it's got a typical punch out there. I mentioned the one on the inside earlier and how that works because it actually kind of the screen can cover it up when it's not being used. So you see that, again, it's not as visible in person as it is on this camera for some reason. But if I open up the camera, you'll see, so it's still covered with the screen. And if I switch to this camera, boom, then it clears out and it can use that camera. Boom, back to screen, boom, back to camera. Let me give you a closer look here if I can. Again, it doesn't show up the way you're seeing it on camera when it's covered. It actually looks like the screen is covering it, but some sort of technology there is allowing it to do this. It's a lower resolution screen, but still really cool how they do this. We've seen this before. This isn't new. I just find it fascinating. And then on the back, again, you've got the main cameras, right? The 50 megapixel camera that you're going to take most of your pictures with, the 12 megapixel camera, the 10 megapixel camera. You've got a whole bunch of cool cameras here. One with optical zoom. One is your widescreen camera, your macro camera, low light cameras, all that stuff. And you know what's cool about this phone, if you haven't played with it before, I'm not going to get into this too much here, but if you half open it, certain apps respond to that. So the camera app, for example, is a really good example. See, it's half open, and then I fully open it, and then it goes to full screen, half open, and it works like that. So if you're kind of setting it on a table, if you're maybe shooting a selfie video with it, there's so much cool stuff that's designed around this Fold that they, you really got to play with it. You got to get your hands on it to kind of figure out which apps are designed for it, which apps are not necessarily designed for it. There's the hinge. You can see it says Samsung on the hinge, and this feels tighter. It feels sturdier. It feels just better made than any of the Fold phones before, in my opinion. So if you're thinking like, oh, I had the Fold 2 and it felt kind of chintzy, I think you're going to be blown away at how much this thing has continued to get better. Here it is in tablet mode. You can see the size compared to my hands. Really is a nice 7.6-inch full rectangle display, 2160 by 1856. It's the size, the AMOLED screen. Real quickly, I want to throw this side by side with the Flip 6. And this probably is a separate video comparing the two, but just for size comparison, if you're curious what the Fold 6 looks like right next to the Flip 6, especially closed, they're actually very similar in size. The Fold 6, the outside screen is going to be a little bit narrower, but not by much, a little bit shorter, but not by much. Certainly the phone is thicker because it's folded in half, but you can see side by side, the outside screen on the Fold and the inside screen on the Flip are actually somewhat similar. Here's the back of the phone where you can see the size difference, and then again, next to each other, of course, the Fold is folded shut like a book, and the Flip is open because it's a flip phone, so obviously a lot thinner. But there you have it. That is the Galaxy Samsung Z Fold 6. Brand new, coming out soon.
I know a lot of you are probably watching this video because you're thinking of buying the Fold 6. So what do you think? Are you sold on this thing? Are you maybe having second thoughts? Or maybe you're thinking about getting the Flip 6 instead. I did an unboxing video of that as well. You should check that out. And would you like to see a video of the Fold 6 and the Flip 6 side by side, comparing the two? Throw a comment below. Let me know. I want to make the videos that you guys want to see. That's what I'm doing here on YouTube. I appreciate you making it to the end. A lot more geeky videos to come. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're notified when those videos pop up. Jack it before you rack it. I'm Kirk.